Welcome back, Derby fans, to the Salish Sea Slam. Thank you for joining us here online as we prepare for the first of two qualifying bouts to determine the two teams that will leave this weekend with a ticket to Wales for the Men's Roller Derby Association Championship Tournament. I am Piggy Fatness. I'm here with
G.I. Jones, and this is game number 10 of the weekend.
Yes, it is.
And as you mentioned, one of the only two qualifying bouts. This is the Philadelphia Hooligans going up against the Austin Anarchy, of course, a team you know well.
Yes, and Philadelphia Hooligans also got to see them play in their first bout this weekend. So, Jonesy, you and I have the responsibility of keeping the fans up to speed on what's happening here in this very important bout that will, as I mentioned, fill one of those two remaining spots at the MRDA Champs in Wales.
Boy, oh boy, lots of pressure there, but I think we can handle it. Of course, that's right. Austin Anarchy played earlier today against Montreal. Took the game 226 to 122.
And let's hear about their roster real quick just so we can get them in. Austin Anarchy, 1587, Florida Freeman, 22 is Antrax, 221, Bruce Payne the third, 23 Sonic Boom, 3 is Wombo Combo, 303 El Nino, 35 Sharknado, 49 Revelation, 5 Tautomatic, 51 Naked Alien, 5150 Speedyrella, 6010 Kojo Ryzen, 818 Vicious, and 88 Danny B.
Here we go, Philadelphia Hooligans, number 0, Grasso, 040 Special Ed, 11 Mainframe, 13 Beast, 16 Speed Tree, 2 D-Morg, 245 Zombicidal Maniac, 25 Uncle Dad, number 4 Nurse Ratchet, 440 Ventura, 58 Schuler, 899 General It's So Fine, 9 T-Ice, 90 is Betty Switch, and 930 Sin Diesel.
Watching Philadelphia yesterday, Jonesy, the jammers to watch if they do indeed go with the rotation they had yesterday. Uncle Dad, number 25, and Betty Switch made huge impact in their bout yesterday as they took on the Race City Rebels.
Awesome, and that is exactly who we'll be looking for. Of course, I imagine them slipping in a couple of others. Austin, of course, we know we've seen them today. Antrax plays Sonic Boom, Wombo Combo, Sharknado. Those are the ones that we should see with the stars on for them.
Yeah, deep rotation. El Nino also part of that rotation. So we'll see what the plan is as we are just moments away from the start of this particular bout. Referee still talking to the captains and coaches. Jonesy, I'm excited. I don't know about you.
It's going to be a fun time. Yeah, it's hopefully it's quite interesting. I don't know if it was planned or not, but if you look the coaches down in your view of the camera, they're both wearing rose-colored dresses, rose-flowered dresses. It's really actually weird.
Indeed the case. So I don't know if there's a mind game going on or
what might be interesting. Well coordinated. I don't know if it was planned or not, but there you go. That's what it is. And as you can see, head ref chatting with them still, talking about the rules. We've had situations this weekend where the head refs have actually stopped gameplay, had an official timeout, and talked to the teams and goes, guys, it's getting a little ugly out there, a little too much head action, face masks getting in faces, etc. I mean, that's what they're designed to do, but still, they've had to say, calm things down because it's getting a little ugly.
Philadelphia Hooligans, Jonesy, the number 1 seed coming into this tournament. They are 11 on the Men's Roller Derby Association rankings. Austin Anarchy at 23. And so, again, we are seeing the culmination of this initial bracket that we have been working through here this weekend. The second qualifying bout will be directly after this one. And we will have an opportunity to see Denver Ground Control taking on the Race City Rebels for that second spot that is available. But right now, it is Austin Anarchy and Philadelphia Hooligans. For those of you joining us online, thank you so much for being here with us. And we are going to be started here in just a bit. White jerseys will be Austin Anarchy. Black jerseys will be the Philadelphia Hooligans. And so it's all ready to go. As we stall and fill time
for the refs that are still having their meeting. So how about them? Wow, what a venue.
Yes, indeed. We are at the Richmond Olympic Oval.
We are.
There's 2010 Winter Olympics. Colorful. And there's people here.
Almost more important than the 2010 Olympics is the fact that in 2016, it was the playoffs location.
Sure.
D1 playoffs location.
A favorite location of Derby, folks.
It's a beautiful venue.
It really is.
Right out back, actually, I took a break earlier, sat down, enjoyed the sun, enjoyed the sea air, and watched the seaplanes that actually legit land right behind the venue.
And take off every few seconds.
They do.
So if you're wanting to have a really important, impactful conversation, that's not the place to do it. So
not a place to do it.
And as you can see by your screens, the officials and such still having a conversation, but that's okay because, hey, these are the kinds of bouts you got to let the tension build, you know?
Yeah, we're here. This is actually on purpose. We're trying to build suspense and increase the viewership of this game.
So call your
every
friends.
Every penny counts.
Yeah. And speaking of
pennies, might as well. Let's do oh, wait, hold on. We have action on the track.
Yes, we do.
I see some handshakes. I see some head ref leaving.
But if you like what you're watching, we can quickly fit it in. Yes. Go to finances@mainlandmisfits.com to help contribute to the cause of this live feed for you. And there, snuck it in.
Yep, and you will expect to see that on an overlay at some point. Reese just got taking care of the feed today, and he puts that on. He might flash up a cat, too. He did that earlier. It was quite sneaky.
It's the now we're going to focus on right now as Uncle Dad wears the star for the Philadelphia Hooligans, and as has been the case, Sharknado starts the rotation
there we go.
For Anarchy.
The refs seem to be moving into place. There goes the whistle for the warning to get things started, and the next one will be the go.
No sweeter sound than that 5-second call as we get ready for this first of 2 qualifying bouts.
And we are off.
Off we go.
Uncle Dad going to the inside but getting knocked out and chipped out. Recycled. Sharknado trying to get up but held down by number 9.
Number 9 is T-Ice, and that opens the door for Uncle Dad to pick up lead jammer for Philadelphia.
Sharknado getting knocked out and recycled again to the outside. Very tall team from what I'm seeing this first line out of the Hooligans.
Uncle Dad facing off against a set of Anarchy blockers, not quite a wall. Well, now they wall up and try to slow him down, and he's able to tiptoe on the outside line, picks up 5 points. And the scoring has begun.
Meanwhile, at the back, Sharknado trying to do a fake star pass. They didn't fall for it. There was actually no pivot nearby when he did it. Pulled it off, juked left, tried to fake it, and he is still recycled. And at the back, as Uncle Dad passes through again for another 5 points.
Uncle Dad comfortable on those inside and outside lines as he's got great toe stop work that served him well yesterday. So we'll see if that will be the case here.
He is back into the pack as Sharknado has handed off his star. Alien, of course, has it now. Naked Alien, and he will jump right in, but he got recycled before he had that opportunity to get into the pack. See, at the front, Naked Alien knocked out by 1 skate, recycled all the way back. Jumps in. Uncle Dad now at the back of the pack as well.
The Hooligans are going to do there's a process in which they'll give you a few feet, but they will angle you out and force you back. And so already we're seeing that play out here in this first jam.
Sounds like a good tactic and an effective one. Naked Alien doing the step over, dodges that hit, gets out of the pack. That is the initial finally complete for Austin, and Philadelphia is going to blow that whistle.
It was a power jam opportunity, tail end of that jam, as Uncle Dad had reported the penalty box. El Nino will have a power start. But there was a point at which you had to know, at least in that jam, that was the only thing that was going to bring Uncle Dad to a stop.
Exactly, and I didn't even notice it happening. He was sitting right in front of the official in front of me. And yeah, that jam went its natural 2 minutes with a power ending, and now a power start for this next jam number 2 of the game. Philadelphia up 15-0.
El Nino with the star and a full set of blockers on both sides.
El Nino, unfortunately, the victim of his own team's offense. Gets run into by Tautomatic, bowled everyone over, and El Nino picks up a low block. Going to go to the penalty box, and that releases Uncle Dad, who is out on the track and picks up lead. So much for that power start.
Just like that, Uncle Dad back in control and has his support team ready to go. Anarchy lines up, 4-wall on the front side of the pack. Here come the Hooligans. Uncle Dad, dead center of that wall of Anarchy and breaks right through, picks up an extra 5 points. El Nino now completing the penalty time and is back on the track, battling to get through.
What I've noticed with Uncle Dad and his jamming technique is he gets in, he rushes forward, stomps, and then gets it. He does a couple of pulses, if you want, of just pushing, letting them slack off, and then taking up that slack and then pushing again. And that seems to be part of his success.
Indeed. Jam comes to a close after 7 points put up by the Hooligans. 22 on the board for Philadelphia, 0 for Anarchy. 26 minutes, 14 seconds.
Automatic picking up a low block on that. I'm sure you saw it on screen. Tripped up Uncle Dad. Uncle Dad landed hard onto his tummy. Took a couple seconds getting up. Automatic in the penalty box.
Beast now for Philadelphia with the star. Antrax is jamming for Austin.
Beast taking his time. He's going to read the game and then get into things. Jumps the line, dances around it, gets lead for the Hooligans.
Antrax able to sneak out and clear his initial pass as well. Pack speed increasing. Anarchy sets up a 3-wall on the front side.
Beast goes in, taps his hip, calls off the jam.
Picks up 3. So Anarchy limits the point total there. Only 1 pass, 3 points. And we will reset. Sonic Boom will take the line for Anarchy. Betty Switch with the star for the Hooligans.
I can imagine Sonic Boom hoping to be the first one to put points on the board for Austin. And as you mentioned earlier, Betty Switch, someone to watch as a jammer for Philadelphia. Here we go.
Once again, empty penalty box, full set of blockers on the track. Both jammers now pushing into the backside of the wall. Betty Switch goes forward and is slowed down. Naked Alien takes a shot and pushes her out of bounds and back. Sonic Boom battling, trying to find space, but gets drawn back as well.
Switch at the front, having a rough time staying on her feet. She keeps dropping knees as she pushes forward, and finally out of the pack will end up with lead. Gets knocked out, and the person that knocked her out went down, so she kept going. Calls off the jam as Sonic Boom caught up with her.
Sonic Boom does have that strong speed that's going to be an impact, but right now Austin looking to break that 0, and they will send Sharknado out once again to jam, facing off against the Hooligans. Number 0, this is Grasso, who is making his first appearance as a jammer for this team.
And he just goes right into that wall of 4. Tries to wedge himself in between the players. Finally gets through because of the out of play call. And there we go, lead to Hooligans. Austin, no success, but a successful apex jump there by Sharknado. Let's see if he can get around and score points before Grasso notices what's going down.
Grasso pushes through, calls off the jam, and gets all 4.
My brain wasn't quite picturing where I had seen the name Grasso before. Team Italy, if I'm not mistaken, from the Men's Roller Derby World Cup.
Grasso right now did put an additional 4 points on the board for Philadelphia.
We've got a timeout called by Austin Anarchy, which is not a surprise.
It really, it's one of those things where Philadelphia doing exactly what they did in their bout yesterday. They came in as the 1 seed. They had the bye into the second round and just dominated their bout that they had against Race City, and really took control early. And this is what we're seeing happen right now against Austin. Austin taking a moment to regroup, see what they can do. And right now, if I know the sport well enough, it's Uncle Dad. You got to figure out how to stop.
How to stop Uncle Dad, yes. And if I'm not mistaken, yesterday that was a discussion point in the YouTube channel. Uncle Dad's name was mentioned repeatedly, and yes, definitely a factor here. But really, I mean, they've got to have, Austin really has to grab something and grab a hold of it and then keep going with it. But right now, they're just grasping for straws as it is and trying to get a first point on the board.
And if you consider the number of minutes that have passed, it's still obviously very early, but it's that 29 point that total that just sort of appeared, and now they're trying to mitigate that. Uncle Dad going up against El Nino. Uncle Dad now looking for a pass on the inside. Does not make the jump. He will have to recycle back, and does so quickly.
Looks like a toe stop sitting off on the track. I'm not sure.
That toe stop
belongs to one of the blockers, I think. I'm not sure. But anyhow.
Uncle Dad picks up lead jammer. Il Nino looking for a path and makes it inside.
Okay, let's see if he can do anything on this, or is Uncle Dad going to be amazingly aware and not let it happen, which is what he's doing. So that 0 continues to haunt the Austin team. 4 more points for Philadelphia on that jam.
But it's a difference between multiple passes and one. This is the difference in this particular jam. Il Nino was able to get out quickly and stop the jam.
Yeah.
So we will see if that pattern will continue. Antrax will be jamming for Anarchy. Beast will have the star for the Hooligans.
2 in the box, 1 from each team on a penalty. Special Ed and Vicious are sitting there waiting to come out. And taking things slow, which is the way Beast does it. He holds, and then he punches. And that's exactly what he's doing. Dances the line, gets out, and gets lead for Philadelphia.
As I think of my pregame comments, I should have mentioned Beast as a jammer to watch as well. As Antrax, no pass, no penalty, does make the pass.
Let's see what happens here. Will somebody get some points? Here's a chance for Austin. No. He might have picked up 1. Yes,
he did pick up 1 point, make that pass. I think Beast might have lost sight of him for just a moment.
I think
so.
And
that enabled Austin to go and get that point courtesy of Antrax and break that 0.
And the cheering from the bench confirms it. That is 1 point on the board for Austin Anarchy.
4 more points by Philadelphia makes the score 37-1, 21 minutes, 23 seconds.
And lining up next, we have Sonic Boom lining up against Betty Switch for this next jam. Betty Switch out to the front first. Sonic Boom getting knocked out and recycled. Switch at the front gets lead.
2 blockers in the box for Anarchy, and that is the difference. Switch gets a great assist from her teammate number 9. That is T-Ice.
She just went through the pack once again without even knocking into anybody. That was a frictionless pass, which was a wording given to me earlier today, and it totally makes sense. Not a challenge at all. She may pick up a penalty for a back block there.
And it looks like that is indeed the case. Betty Switch will report to the penalty box. The jam will continue as Anarchy now has the power jam. Sonic Boom did complete his initial, so
they've got Antrax up on the board, but that's not the case. It is Sonic Boom that's jamming. There has not been a star pass. And Sonic Boom dancing T-Ice out of the way and gets through. That'll put some points up finally for Anarchy.
It is a 5-point signal that is being made by the official for Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom getting a little assistance from number 818, Vicious.
Nice force out, though, by the blockers for the Hooligans, forcing back Sonic Boom. Speed Treat, T-Ice working alongside Schuler.
And Betty Switch back on the track and through for a scoring pass as we were discussing Sonic Boom and his attempts.
Anarchy blockers working hard against Betty Switch, trying to slow her progress.
Schuler having a great success there of putting Sonic Boom out, and a wonderful bit of morale coming off the bench from the Hooligan team cheering him on that.
13-8 jam in favor of the Hooligans. Anarchy up to 9 points. Philadelphia is at 50 as we now see Sharknado once again jamming for Anarchy.
And that's Grasso.
Grasso is the jammer of note for the Hooligans.
Probably with a little twist to the language. And Sharknado taking a blocker stance there for a minute, slowing things down for Grasso as he goes to the front now, hops through, remains inbounds, gets popped by Special Ed, and makes his way out for lead, Austin Anarchy.
If I'm not mistaken, this is the first lead jammer call for Austin. Sharknado, but in heavy pursuit is Grasso. Sharknado picks up 1.
He was going in there at speed and knew what he was about to do.
Yeah.
I was hoping to pick up more than one, I guarantee it. But one is better than none, and now they are up to 10. Our famous Uncle Dad back out on the track with the star for the Hooligans, and Il Nino there for Austin Anarchy, hoping to get in and push that pack out of the way and get lead.
Antrax working alongside Naked Alien, and a penalty is picked up by Uncle Dad. Track cut is the call. Il Nino with an opportunity here. Anarchy skaters in to help out. Hooligans put it together, a 3-wall on the front side. Il Nino is able to avoid lead jammer call.
Out of play block being given a 16 speed tree as the no pack was called, and he engaged the jammer. Il Nino through on a scoring pass with lead. So all in control is Il Nino. Uncle Dad standing now in the penalty box, getting ready to come out. Il Nino locks him down.
Strong push to the pack, picks up 5 points, calls it off. Uncle Dad was standing, and so best to get those points, get off, and let's see what happens on the next rotation.
Possibly had they let Uncle Dad come back on the track, that jam could have ended and he would have been out of the
Different
rotation.
jammer.
Now he's about to go in, and of course, as we know, he's a little bit of a danger. He's got a couple seconds left. Sonic Boom ready to go and start this with a power start, but only for 2 seconds. We'll see how the blocking line does for Austin.
4-3 blocker advantage for Anarchy as we get underway. Sonic Boom getting some help from Vicious on the outside. Nice strong push by Sonic Boom to try to break free. Nice recovery though by the Hooligans, and the lead jammer call goes to Austin Anarchy. Sonic Boom. Bruce Payne III does sit down, and a penalty for a track cut on Uncle Dad sits him back down. This is Power Jam Austin Anarchy.
This is what they need, and this is coincidental that 2 jams in a row now. Uncle Dad to the penalty box, but Sonic Boom on the track getting knocked hard to the inside will get recycled and have to try it again.
Drawn back, and again, the size of these Hooligan blockers definitely making a difference in this early gameplay.
Sonic Boom leaning in hard, but not getting anywhere on that lean. Finally goes around the outside, gets up to the front, but gets knocked out once again by Nurse Ratchet, and is recycled, but Nurse Ratchet picking up a penalty.
Out of play is the call. Sonic Boom battling on the backside, trying to make something happen, but Uncle Dad has cleared the pack and has completed his initial pass. The jam is called because that's what you have to do.
Well, there you go. They've doubled their points. Austin Anarchy now up to 20 with a 5-point jam on that last jam. 2, a power start and a power jam in that. They picked up 5 points. Philadelphia locked down to 0, 50-20 right now the score.
It's been a tale of 2 bouts here for Anarchy on their journey to this point. The first game that they played against the Race City Rebels was this back and forth affair. Not too much of a point differential throughout the entire game, and when it was over, a 3-point differential with Race City Rebels winning. And then they came in against Montreal, dominated the bout earlier today, but now trying to figure out how to stop Beast and
Beast is out of the pack and
Philadelphia Hooligans.
Tell you, he is out with lead, but looks like that's Antrax is out of the pack himself, and Beast gets hit hard, goes down, and calls off the jam. He's still not sure what happened. He's looking around at the floor.
Anarchy starting to find some success in getting their jammers out, and so we'll see if that continues here as we are now past the halfway point of this first period, qualifying bout number 1 here at the Salish Sea Slam North American Qualifier. 2 tickets left to Wales for 2 teams, and 1 team will be determined by this bout. Betty Switch jamming for the Hooligans, Sharknado for Anarchy.
A multiplayer block being issued out to Naked Alien. Will sit down. Betty Switch in the meantime has gotten out of the pack and has become lead. Sharknado out to the outside and recycled as Betty Switch makes her way through and makes it look easy as she does.
So strong is Betty Switch, and the just furious rotation of Hooligan blockers making life really difficult for Sharknado.
He gets past one, the one at the back jumps to the front, reabsorbs him, finally he gets his way out. That is just his initial pass. Switch calling off the jam, and a timeout being called by the Anarchy once again.
Discussion now being held by Coach Spanks and Anarchy. We are at 13 minutes, 23 seconds, 57 on the board for Philadelphia after a 7-0 jam, 20 for Anarchy. Jonesy, how do you stop the Hooligans? That's really the question here.
I'm looking at the line. I'm looking at everybody that's there, and it's like, I don't even know how to answer that. Their recycling is incredible. They are constantly just rotating that triangle, and even when it doesn't become a triangle and just becomes one blocker after the other, they're still the blocker that has fallen behind then comes up. It's that whole thing that some coaches teach about never giving up.
Right.
And these guys don't stop. They will hit and then get lost, but then come right back up and become part of that cycle again, and that just destroys jammers' morale.
Yeah. And depending on the lines, there's also, as we mentioned twice now, there is a size differential. The Hooligans blockers are taller, and again, they've just right now to this point been tough to stop. So El Nino looking to solve the riddle of the Hooligans as he prepares to jam. Grasso with the star for the Hooligans.
The Hooligans now, of course, we're on an official timeout now as they do some track maintenance, and they've got a song for everything, these Hooligans. They are cheering on the tapeworm as she tapes things. But
definitely a lot of spirit from this Hooligans team.
Look at the size of the blockers. If we look, we're at eye level right now, right behind the penalty box, and they're all tall. These are a tall bunch of dudes. So when you do the tabletopping blocking, that allows you to have that much more distance before you get folded up and then are absorbing jammers. So having that height advantage is definitely a factor and will definitely play a factor. You can see the Austin skaters out there trying to catch their breath, getting the zen back in and trying to get focused on this game, and that's what it is. They need to keep their focus.
They know what's at stake. They've come to play, and both of these teams really, really playing at a furious pace as these jams, as each jam whistle starts, you see the pace of the entire game just go at such a hurried pace. As I say, pace 27 times in the same sentence.
Pace? So. Pace. Okay, on the track, it's Grasso once again going up against El Nino. Whistle blows. Grasso doesn't take any time to leave that line, and he is out, but gets chipped out by Vicious and will get reabsorbed. At the front, El Nino does his best and manages to push his way through the pack. He will have lead.
Blockers from the Hooligans in to break up that wall by Anarchy. Grasso still stuck behind a wall of white jerseys. El Nino now dealing with a 3-wall on the back side of the pack. Bracing is the Philadelphia team.
Oh. And El Nino falling over one of the Hooligan blockers. No penalty assessed on that. Meanwhile, that delay has caused Grasso to get out of the pack, which will cause Nino to call it off, but not before he picks up a couple points.
3 points on that pass. 23 now for Anarchy. 12.5 minutes. And a little bit of a momentum shift to the Anarchy side. But again, really the biggest difference I'm noticing, at least coming off the line, is the speed at which the Hooligan jammers take off.
Those guys just explode off.
They really do.
Sprinter style.
As opposed to the Anarchy jammers who are immediately, facing a wall. So we'll see what the difference is here.
The exception to that rule, of course, is Beast. He takes his time, reads it like a chess game, and then explodes. But yes.
Antrex pushing up against a 4-wall on the front side by the Hooligans. Bridging now.
Dan takes the outside line, runs along, cuts in, and cuts the apex to pick up lead for the Hooligans.
Antrex does manage to get out, does complete the initial pass. Uncle Dad now engaged on the front portion against Anarchy and calls it off. Only picking up 1 point that time is Uncle Dad. Beast now getting ready to do battle. Big hug for Sonic Boom.
Okay, and the pack advantage this time is Austin's pack advantage. They've got 4 blockers, 1 in the box for the Hooligans. That's Zombie.
Zombicidal Maniac.
The whole pack moved right in on him, so it didn't have any chance to get any speed up before they locked down Beast. But now that things are moving, Sonic Boom getting chipped to the outside as Beast is up at the front, and he is primed and just bouncing everywhere.
At the same time, though, as he came to that box, a low block was assessed on T-ice, so a little bit of a tangle on skates.
At the same time, Sonic Boom is sitting down in front of us in the penalty box.
Right.
Not sure what the penalty was.
It was a track cut on okay. Sonic Boom.
So Beast is out there all by his lonesome self. He still hasn't made lead.
Nice force out by Anarchy on Beast, drawing him back. Still no call for lead as Sonic Boom is back on the track.
Oh, wow.
Sonic Boom forced out and drawn back as well. Beast does pick up the lead jammer call. Doesn't realize that the helmet cover is not on his helmet.
He'll have to get that as he goes around, but that will avoid him getting any points. His pivot can bring it back to him. He can't call now because he doesn't have the helmet cover on.
Danny B forcing out Beast. Sonic Boom having to re-engage.
Good.
Chaos, chaos, chaos.
So, yeah, the hiccup with that one is, do I go back and get it, or do I go and push through? Sadly, when you push through, you're missing those points that you could potentially claim. But then, of course, because it was an accidental removal of the helmet cover, he still had the ability to call off the jam.
Betty Switch now with the star as we get an official timeout being signaled. When we get back to the action, it will be Sharknado and Betty Switch.
And official timeout brought to you by Nerd Roller Skates. Everything you need for roller derby and beyond. Free shipping across Canada to Canadian orders over $150. Nerdskates.com. Or if you're in Calgary or the Calgary area, visit their Calgary full-service shop. Nerd Roller Skates for people who roll.
Middle of your screen, actually a little bit off to the left, you can see the little discussion being held by both teams as they wait out this official timeout. That's the thing I love about what we've seen this weekend is just the camaraderie amongst all these teams. I'm not saying that that's unique to this tournament, but it's something that has really stood out.
I'd say that's like roller derby.
Yeah, of course. But there's something about this environment. These teams knowing they're part of something special. The very first North American qualifier. We had the European qualifier a couple of weeks ago. They love being here because of not only the historic aspect of this event happening, but also because of the chance to play teams that they have not encountered in their previous time frames.
True. And on that note, in the stands, we've got many players from all the other teams. I've seen some players from teams that aren't even involved in this. We've got the Vancouver Murder, of course, helping host this. I saw some Toronto shirts and stuff like that. And our head ref is coming over to talk with the coaches. We're going to verify if there's a clarification on what went down with that last play.
We'll see if we can get an update on what was being discussed.
I'm hearing possibly on the house feed. Of course, they've got the head ref that talks to them, or the ref, and I heard something about Sonic Boom, and that's exactly what we see in front of us. Sonic Boom in for a backblock penalty to the penalty box. So that will be a power start for number 25, Uncle Dad, out there once again. And his whole line of blockers there to help him out. So once we get this started.
Naked Alien, Tautomatic, Anthrax make up the bulk of the Anarchy line alongside Danny B.
So you could see there Special Ed taking off, getting the pack moving, which helped everything happen because Austin Anarchy got pushed forward, but Anthrax there not falling for that, and Uncle Dad gets whipped to the outside off of Anthrax.
That is a classic Anthrax shoulder check, and it does its job. Slowing down Uncle Dad, and another shot.
But he went out.
And picked up a forearm penalty. That will send her to the penalty box. So now Uncle Dad.
That's that do not give up, and Anthrax definitely brought that into play right there. Got another second shot on Uncle Dad. Very powerful stuff, and it looks like Sonic Boom is going to make his way through the pack. we have a roller derby jam. No. Uncle Dad says, no, you don't. And calls it off. General Sofine going to sit down in the penalty box. Going to put a slight advantage on the next jam to the Anarchy blocking line.
67-23 after a 9-0 jam for the Hooligans. 8:05 left on the clock. And again, right now, Hooligans firing on all pistons. They sent out Grasso to jam against Sharknado.
Sharknado, of course, picking up the first lead for Austin, so this could be a success on his part. He gets right in, leans hard. He only has 3 blockers to contend with, but Grasso jumped right in there and joined his team. I was
and
going
a
to
track
wonder how that did not
is
get
called.
whistled. Grasso went right through the middle, then said, you know what, I'm just going to get up and carry on. Did not work.
Lead jammer goes to Sharknado as a result.
And he starts a power jam.
3-wall by the Hooligans breaks apart as Sharknado. He does get forced out at the top of the apex between 3 and 4 and has to reset.
Nurse Ratchet on that hit, chipping him to the outside. And then he gets back in and goes. Now, just amazing recycling to watch from these Hooligan blockers.
Also, each blocker taking a shot. It's not just about position. It's that they're making contact one by one, and that's got to take its toll on the Anarchy Jammers.
Grasso this time staying in bounds and staying on his feet, but jam whistle down, of course. Great move by Sharknado because, you know what, you could let him skate all the way around, but that's going to eat up some of the time. Time is valuable right now. You're down by just under 30 points, 40 points. Math, I don't know. You can do it faster than I can. But I can drive a tank.
620, you win. 622 and counting. Betty Switch back on the line, jamming for the Hooligans.
And Il Nino out there for the Austin Anarchy.
4-3 blocker advantage for Anarchy. And Il Nino makes them pay. It's going to be a lead jam call for Austin.
As soon as those whistles go, Betty Switch removes the helmet cover and pushes forward. T-Ice not ready to grab that, to receive that star just yet. Naked, that's in the works.
Naked Alien and Vicious. Bruce Payne now part of this Anarchy defense.
Naked Alien staying in after the hit to Betty Switch.
El Nino now engaged on the front side. 3-wall by the Hooligans, making life difficult for El Nino.
Look at that, though. He pushes right through that bad day and carries on with a smile on his face. 5 points on the board for Austin Anarchy. That's 10 points in this jam alone. This is a good jam.
El Nino looking for more. Here come the Anarchy blockers to try to create some space, and there's the pass. 4 more points for El Nino. And all of a sudden, we have got
there we go.
38 points for Anarchy. We'll look for a score update here in just a minute.
We should see 4
as
more.
The points went on the wrong side. So 42 for Anarchy, 67 for Philadelphia. Jonesy, I think it's fair to say.
That's 25 points.
Yes, I think it's fair to say the momentum has, for the moment, switched to Anarchy.
Definitely on that jam. There's no question and no doubt about that. And on the track, we've got Beast lining up against Antrax. Antrax and Beast, both of them off. Beast not taking any time, delaying, and leaves with lead for Philadelphia.
Antrax looking to make that initial pass, and he has. Beast with his speed now approaching the back portion of the pack and through. One skater to beat, and actually a forearm is called. Power jam for Anarchy is the result. Antrax now makes a pass, picks up 5 points. This is going to be a very interesting 30 seconds, Jonesy, as Anarchy has an opportunity here.
I am tracking this and watching Beast, and he's very frustrated because he hit the player on the side. So he thought he was fine, and he thought he was getting a back block. But what happened is he pushed off with his arm and ended up with a forearm penalty. So yes, right now, Antrax out there on his own. Again, 10 points on the board, but then he himself picks up a forearm penalty. Balancing things out. Beast.
That 10 points is now what has Anarchy within 15, but Beast now back on the track and he is
primed. He is taking all that frustration of that penalty and has put it to the track. He just danced through everybody out there and grabs a few points for himself.
Hooligans blockers had an opportunity to prepare for Antrax's return, and now they are drawing him back. Speedtree drew him back, but Antrax skillfully gets through on the inside. 4 points for Anarchy.
I am actually seeing a little frustration right now on the Philadelphia Hooligan blocking line, where things are not working for them, so they're kind of getting a little flustered.
Defensively, Anarchy also doing a good job of slowing down Beast, which, again, that has been the initial trouble that Anarchy had early on. 5 more points.
Look at that.
Now, as the gap has been close to 11 as this jam comes to a close. What a...
I think we can summarize that whole jam with, hey, Philadelphia, we're here to play.
Exactly, and that is the nature of this team. 76-61 as Philadelphia did put 9 points as well. 76-61 after a 19-9 jam.
Sonic Boom just skated out to his position at the jam line. Big smile on his face. He is ready to go. The momentum is catching up. And we have an official review and coaches being called to the middle.
Official timeout is the signal, so. $15 points separating these two teams. 2 minutes, 18 seconds. The Hooligans to this point have dominated, but Austin Anarchy has really stepped up in these last 3 jams, not just offensively, but defensively. So we will see if they can continue that momentum swing here in the last couple of minutes.
So what I'm seeing the head ref talking to the coaches about, she's talking about charging penalties, and she's not giving them right now, but she's seeing a lot of cases where things could be penalties, and she's warning them as they're going to start coming if you guys don't cool things down.
We'll keep an eye on that. Good warning by the ref and a good decision to let these teams play. A lot is at stake. And here we are, Sonic Boom taking on Uncle Dad. After what was such a frenetic jam, we'll see what the Hooligans do to try to regain control.
Uncle Dad almost
track
stayed
cut.
in bounds, got a wheel over the edge, and then got clocked as he landed that. Picked up his cutting the track penalty. And we're going to have a penalty low block going to Sonic Boom.
There was a moment of hesitation when the penalty on Uncle Dad was called. Sonic Boom did a bit of a stutter step to stop and then tried to go forward, picked up the penalty. This will be a short amount of time for Sonic, but again, now we'll go the full 2 minutes.
Exactly. Oh.
And another penalty.
Wow.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on Jonesy as the number of penalties Uncle Dad has had this first period.
That's got to be at least 4 that I'm counting. We'll check that with our penalty box manager. He will give us our numbers once we get a chance. Sonic Boom getting knocked out by Nurse Ratchet and recycled. Zombie getting ready to help out Ratchet and slow down the jammer.
Not enough can be said about the patience that Anarchy has shown, but right now the Hooligans blocker is back to what they've been doing all game long, and that is hitting hard and drawing back Sonic Boom.
You can see the Austin blockers there, just telling him that you don't have to pass Nurse Ratchet. Nurse Ratchet did that false pullback, but he didn't have to. Doesn't matter, he's back on the track and through. 5.
So we talked about earlier, how do you stop Uncle Dad? 5 penalties.
Oh!
Sonic Boom, spin move through for 4.
Wow. That was incredible. Sonic Boom dancing that line, and just the momentum kept him going. He spun to the inside, which kept him like a ballerina, just to the middle. And Uncle Dad is getting knocked out. Both jammers getting knocked out, recycled right now.
Special Ed with some fantastic blocking on Sonic Boom. Nurse Ratchet the same. Both jammers having to reclaim the space that they had gained.
Wow.
And an official review being signaled now by
jam?
Philadelphia.
Okay, and on that note, as was mentioned, I don't know if you heard the penalty box manager, Uncle Dad is on 5. So, yeah.
And right now, we talked earlier about the dominant performance of the Philadelphia Hooligans. These last 3 or 4 jams, Anarchy has figured out a few things, and we now sit at only an 8-point differential. So the Hooligans are going to have to figure out, okay, what's the key here? Because they expended a lot of energy to build a huge lead, but now
that lead is gone. And if I'm not mistaken, that's a couple shutout jams in a row, or very minimal for Philadelphia. So, because I feel that 76 has been there a while.
Yeah, no, you're right.
So, this is going to be key. I mean, we've got one more jam in this half. The official review, not sure what it's about. I'll try to listen to see if the house call has any info on it. And definitely, I think Austin Anarchy has put Philadelphia on their heels going, whoa, where did this come from? What's happening?
Well, I think what we can definitely know that we've seen is that there has definitely been an increase in the physicality of Anarchy over the course of the last few jams. They've really amped up their physicality in terms of gameplay. But again, there have been penalty issues that the Hooligans have encountered that they need to get cleaned up.
So if I look at the dot that's on the board at the Philadelphia side, the official review does not remain. So whatever the challenge was, they did not win it. And as you can see, we are back at gameplay. Of course, that's Betty Switch out front and Sharknado at the back right now with the stars on for their respective teams.
Good rotation of blockers by Anarchy in terms of keeping Betty Switch in check. Loss of a blocker now as Nurse Ratchet reports to the penalty box for the Hooligans, and a track cut now on Betty Switch. Opportunity for Anarchy. Now Antrax approaching the penalty box as well as Sharknado, where he's cleared the pack and does have the lead jammer call.
It's almost like you were delaying, waiting for that lead call. Now he's only got 2 blockers to contend with as we have 2 blockers in the box in front of us.
This will be a, again, the physicality of the Hooligans coming into play as Sharknado gets forced back. We'll see if he was able to clear.
They're playing with them.
They really are. No time for hesitation, but Sharknado forced to the infield once again and calls off the jam. So we will see.
In the box. It did not succeed at that.
There were 4 points picked up by Anarchy on the tail end of that jam as we have gotten to the halftime period.
They haven't gone up on the board yet.
They have not, and so we'll see what's happening at this point.
There they go.
So it looks like, there it is. So 4 points up on the board, 4-0 jam to close out what has been an amazing first period, Jonesy. Yeah.
That's been crazy. We're at a 4-point game. At one point, it was 50
to single digits.
10, 50 to 10, and then they worked their way back up 50 to 20. And then, in the last 10 minutes of this first half, it's just been
very different game.
It's been all Austin.
Indeed.
All the time.
Anarchy with a strong push. The Hooligans have really shown how strong they are and how physical they play. Anarchy responded in the latter portion of that period. So we'll look forward to see what the adjustments are coming into the second period. For those of you much for joining us, and we'll be right back to figure out who will take the ticket here between Austin Anarchy and the Philadelphia Hooligans at the Salish Sea Slam Men's Roller Derby Association North American Qualifier. Jonesy, we'll be right back with more derby action.
See you in 9.5 minutes.
Nerd Roller Skates is your dedicated quad roller skate shop in Calgary, Alberta.
Being a nerd is about being really excited and really passionate about a really specific thing. And the thing that we are really passionate about is roller skates.
Nerd Roller Skates, for people who roll.